Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 47 of the Anatomy of Knitting podcast, the Irish edition. My name is Erin, and I'm going to be your host. And today is April 22nd, 2014. I have some four-legged co-hosts that you see. Let's get started. So, update. We have currently moved to Ireland. As you can see, so things are mirrored. So there's a chair here, and we've got a radiator here, and a cat there. We've been in the house for a week now, and we're waiting for our stuff. Everything's been shipped from our home in Seattle. We gave it about a month's head start before we left and got a one-way ticket to come live here. Our household goods are currently in Halifax, Nova Scotia, the last time I looked, which was about 24 hours ago. Hopefully it's trying to cross the Atlantic now. Let's see. We are all settled in. We've got all the cats here. We were able to bring all of the cats fairly easily to Ireland as long as you get their health documented, good health documented. And the boys caught a cold and then gave us the cold. So I sound a little hoarse, but other than that, that is the current update. I figured I would, because it's been, about 4 months since I last podcasted, I figured I'd kind of give an update for new viewers who haven't really watched the podcast before. My name is Erin. I am a 35-year-old, currently stay-at-home mom. Prior to giving birth to my twins, Malcolm and Nathaniel, I was a critical care registered nurse working at a level 1 trauma center in Washington State. My husband recently accepted a new position, which required us to make an international move, which has been quite the experience, let me tell you. So now I am currently a knitter, spinner, sewer, podcaster who is based in Cork, Ireland. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Ireland, Cork is in the southern part of the country, kind of southwestern area. So that's kind of the update. So I have two boys. They're twins. I told you their names already. They are going to be 16 months in 3 days. Since you in the last podcast that I posted, there was a little clip at the end where you saw them in their cribs. They are both currently walking, which has made things quite interesting. They are slowly starting to say some words. Malcolm says kitty, although not that well. And Nathaniel says light. And so things are getting very interesting to be the mother of twins, I'll say. Let's see. I told you that we've been in Ireland for a week, and I've been knitting mostly and doing some sewing since I last spoke to you. So let's move on to the knitting portion of the podcast. It might not be too long, so just to warn you, this whole podcast might not be super long, but I figured I'd post it while I could. So let's talk about knitting. So knitting wise, I've been fairly busy since I last spoke to you all. I can't remember what I was a bad podcaster. I didn't watch the previous podcast to see what I had told you all about, because mostly everything's different right now. Since I last spoke to you, I have started a new pair of socks. I am, bless Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Are you done? Okay. Ari's done sneezing. So since I last spoke to you, I started a new pair of socks. Here is the yarn. It is... There we go. Everything's all mirrored, so it's kind of hard to show you, at least right away. This is Lana Grossen Millenvite Merino. I believe that is a 6-ply yarn there. I believe I purchased this yarn when my husband and I took a trip to Germany. Oh goodness, that must have been 3 or 4 years now since we've done that. I figured that I would need, and this isn't super accurate, it's more of a, it's got more green than what you're seeing here. Although I like that you can see it's all clear. I decided to start a new pair of socks because I knew that we would be traveling. I might have some time on the plane to knit while we were traveling over here. So I started a stockinette sock. Here's what I have so far. I'm doing my usual 1x1 rib for an inch-ish, and then just a regular old stockinette sock. And this is doing its own thing. I'm just knitting a straight stockinette sock, and then the yarn is doing this little pooling thing there. Let's see. I believe I started these while we were staying at my folks' place before we got on the plane to come here. And there's not much to say about that's super exciting about a 1x1 inch ribbed stockinette sock that I haven't said before. Yeah, so that is that. It's nice and soft yarn, and I believe it'll be kind of a nice heavy-duty workhorse type of yarn. So not much to share with that, just a little bit of progress there. What I currently don't have to show you because it's upstairs where the boys are sleeping, and I neglected to grab them when I put them down. It's been a little bit of a tough day. The part of living in Ireland, we had to there's all these numbers that you have to get and these hoops that you kind of have to jump through. So Bernie and I have gotten a GNIB, which is like a green card thing. So we got that Thursday, and we're working on getting a PPSN, which is sort of like a social security number. It's so my husband's, the money that he earns from this job, they won't tax it at the maximum rate. I guess it proves that, he's got a wife and 2 kids and all that good stuff. Of course, Ari, you're sitting on the pile of stuff that I want to show. Anyway, yeah, so we took the boys to go do that this morning, and they did not take their morning nap, so that was a little fun. And then they sort of finally down for a nap. Yeah, and I neglected to get the sweaters that I had knit them. So I participated in the Knit More Girls podcast Matchy Knit Along, and that's a knit along where you have to knit 2 similar objects for, I wouldn't say 2 people, because I believe I've seen like a couple of matching dog sweaters, I think I've seen some things that aren't for human consumption in the thread there. But my contribution to it was that I knit 2 antler cardigans. And the antler cardigan, I'm a bad podcaster. I did not look that up prior to showing you, so I'm going to Ravelry. That is by Tin Can Knits. And I used Lion brand Woolly Solids in like this nice gray heather color. I made one for Malcolm and I made one for Nathaniel. I believe I had gauge issues using that yarn and the 2 needles that I used. I believe my gauge was bigger? Yeah, I think it was bigger than expected. So, no, it had to have been smaller than expected because I knit a bigger size to get the size sweater that I wanted. I believe I knit the 4 to 6 year old size with the gauge that I had ended up working to be the 1 to 2 year old age range sweater. So I ended up knitting those. I knit most of them when my husband and I were on our house hunting trip when we came to Cork in February. I ended up using the button tutorial. Well, sort of the button tutorial. I didn't do the backing buttons for the boys. I ended up putting the ribbon on, and it's this cute sheep ribbon that Jasmine of the Knitmore Girls gifted me. It's super cute. It's like this, I won't say neon green, but like a limey green background with black and white sheep on it. It's really cute. So I ended up putting that on the button side of the button band, and then using my sewing machine and cheating and sewing on the buttons that way, because I hate sewing on buttons. So those turned out really good, and if you check my project page on Ravelry, you can see the finished sweaters there. And then the third big knitting project that I've been working on is my goal is to do a matchy entry to the Knitmore Girls Knit Along. And I am using, when we were here in February, we ended up going to a yarn/fabric/craft store called Vibes and Scribes in downtown Cork. And I ended up finding this yarn. And it's a nice charcoal gray. It's showing up a little blue here. And it's kind of, I think it's made locally, relatively locally, because it's got the handmade tag here, or handwritten tag, and it's Donegal Heather yarn, and I believe I got 5 of these. Oh, that's much better. See, it's much more gray. I believe it's my red sweater that's probably freaking everything out. So as soon as I finished the boys' antler cardigan, I cast on for an antler cardigan for myself. So I hand wound the balls because my ball winder is currently on a boat. And I have knit 2 sleeves. 1 and 2 sleeves. The yarn is, I will admit, a little scratchy, but I'm planning on using this more as a layering garment rather than just something I'd wear like plain, you know. So 2 sleeves. Yep, that's much more accurate. And then I'm currently knitting the body. So what the construction of the sweater is that it's a yoked sweater. So you knit the sleeves first, and then you knit the body up to the armholes, and then you join everything, and then knit the fun cables. So you got to kind of slog through the boring bits first. So this like big blob of gray, and it's split. I just was a bad podcaster and didn't finish my row before I started podcasting. So that's the blob. I believe I have to go me look. Like a gazillion inches. Although I need to, because now I'm living in Ireland, I need to totally start using metric. Let's see. Yeah, I have to go 18.5 inches, and I'm currently at about 10.5. So I've got, I'm over halfway there with this slog of body. And you should see, so this is the ball I currently have for the yarn. But when I wind this, it totally is like a ball that's like this big. It's huge. And it's fun to knit from a ball that big. Because it means less ends to weave in. Let's see. What else do I want to say about the sweater? Can't think of anything. I told you that the yarn was a bit rustic. It's super easy. If you all haven't knit a sweater before, the directions are super clear. And I think I'd recommend this as a first time sweater. If you've done cables before, especially. Nothing in the direction, there's no waist shaping. There's nothing that's particularly complicated. At least in the smaller sizes that I knit, there wasn't anything particularly complicated, and I can't imagine that it would be any more complicated for a bigger size. The only thing that's going to be different is I'm going to be knitting more of the cable patterns that's up on the yoke. So that is, I believe all that's it for the knitting. Like I said, I haven't done a super large amount. I did manage to so we have 2 separate shipments of belongings that are coming here to Ireland. The first was an air shipment, which arrived the day we moved in, or the day we got the keys for the apartment, or not apartment, it's a house. But I always think apartment when I'm renting. And I managed to put my mini spinner on that air shipment. So I'd have something crafty if I ran out of some knitting. So that is here. It's there. You can't see it, but out of frame. And then I sort of did a little fabric binging, and that's what you see here. That's Halloween costumes for the boys. And then the one in the top, it's fabric for footed pajamas that I have in there. So I'm really excited about all the fabric I got before I left. So let's move on to the sewing segment. I think that's a good segue. So let's go to sewing. Sewing, that is kind of what I did a lot of when we were in Vancouver living with my parents. My mom and I ended up going to a sewing show that was in Puyallup. I guess it was around my birthday. She was in town in Seattle for my birthday, and we went to Puyallup for the sewing show. And I ended up getting what's called a finishing kit, which just included the batting, the interfacing, the Velcro, and the directions to make this, which is an iPad case. There we go. Got the Velcro there. So it's got in the middle of it this kind of foamy batting, and I just thought it was the cutest little iPad case ever. And then when we were in Vancouver, I went to Fabric Depot and I found this fabric. I believe the fabric line is called Sweetwater. I'm not sure if that's the fabric line or the person who designed it. Anyway, it's kind of got this orange peely, and that's the name of this like circular design. At least I think that's, when it's quilted, that's what it's called. And then these flags. So it's super cute. And then I showed you that it's lined all on the inside. And then it's got this nice zippered back as well, so you can put like earphones or your charging cable in there. So it's super handy. I ended up, it called for a heavy duty zipper, but I couldn't find one, so I just used this regular zipper. The pattern calls for, you have a zipper pull that you can make, which I made for this one, but then didn't bother making for the next case that I made. Excuse me. So that's the first one that I made. Super cute. I liked it, but I wish that when you sew the fabric onto the foamy part, the fabric has a tendency to shift, and I wasn't super happy with that. And then I also when I sewed the binding on, you can see that I used the red thread to match on that side, but then it showed up on the light fabric that I had there. So I didn't like those things, but I always consider my first thing of a pattern sort of my practice piece. So I decided I wanted to make another one, which I did. And so the things that are different about this one is obviously different fabric. Yep, that's more accurate there. It's more this kind of, it's not a hunter green. It's like a teal green, I guess. But it is not this blue as you're seeing here. It's my red sweater, I'm sorry. So what I did that was different with this is that I cut the foam, in the kit, those pieces of the foam were pre-cut. I ended up getting more of that and then cutting my own size that is specified in the pattern when you quilt it. And I quilted, let's see if you can, yeah, you can see it a lot better there. I ended up doing this straight line quilting. I think it looks really cool. Yeah. Oh, look, you can see my marking right there. So, just another case. This one ended up being just a hair bigger. Let's see if I can... I guess a little bit taller. Like that. This one is a little bit bigger, but although I like the finished project a little bit more, it seems more professional. And then when I did the sewing the binding on there, I used white thread on this side, so you can't, except when it goes over that little black part, you can't see it. And then I quilted this part as well, just some straight lines, not the grid quilting here. And same thing, this one's lined as well, and you can see the quilting a lot better on the inside because I matched the thread to the top thread and not what the fabric was on the inside, but that's okay. You only see it when you open it up. And the same thing with the zipper. I couldn't find a heavy duty zipper, so I just, oh look, what do I have in there? Papers. So that's that. So those are two sewing projects that I finished when I was in Vancouver. I used my mother's sewing machine, which is the same exact sewing machine that I have. So super easy. Liked that. And then the third thing, I have to wake a sleeping cat. Come on, get up, get up, get up. My mom had been saying how she wanted to find some fleece projects like to do for the boys. And I thought that was kind of a cool idea. So I ended up going to the Simplicity website to see if I could find projects that I could make out of fleece. And I ended up finding some jackets for women that were super cool. And I made, so the hood is hanging down. So I made, let me scoot back. I made this jacket. There we go. Super cool. You end up putting this is made with, I think 1 3/4 yards of fleece. And 5 binding tape or bias tape, which is used kind of as a binding. And the way that you construct this is you cut out all the pieces as usual, and then when it's time to sew them together, you put the wrong sides together and you sew. So the wrong side. Imagine the wrong sides are where I am. You sew on the bias tape down here. You trim the seam, and then you encase the seam with the other side of the bias tape. So in this is the seam allowances, which is super cool, and I'd never done that before. This turned out to be a little bit big in the shoulders. I'm not super buff in my shoulders, I guess. I need to start lifting, weights for my shoulders. And it's a little bit big in the sleeves. But the design ease seems super huge. I think on the envelope, the finished bust measurement was like 8 inches larger than the bust measurement for the size, for that size. So there was a lot of design ease in this. Pardon me. I keep feeling a cough coming on, and I think you'd rather see me take a break to drink than to cough. So those were the 3 projects that I made in the 3 weeks that we were living down with my parents. I'm currently sewing machine-less, which is sad, because I really want to be sewing. It's so quick to do. Oh, look, there's Lola. Hi, Lola. Yep. Oh, is she gonna come? Hi, Lola. Lola. There she goes. So, yeah, I'm currently sewing machine-less, and I've got all these projects that I want to do. Like, there are these quilt-as-you-go bags that I want to make. Then I ended up finding duck cloth. Like, I searched everywhere in Seattle and couldn't find duck cloth, which is like this heavy canvas cloth that you use on the inside of these quilt-as-you-go bags. So I found that at Fabric Depot. Fabric Depot! I love Fabric Depot. And then I found muslin. Oh, I gotta show you the costumes, the Halloween costumes that I'm gonna make the boys. They're gonna be so cute. So I opened them. Obviously, you see the boxes. I totally opened them up in between the last session and this one. So this, you can see, price, whatever. I didn't spend that much. So this is what the boys are gonna be for, not the duck, but the sheep. They're gonna be sheep for Halloween. Isn't that cute? And then there's a bell that you put on it. So I ended up finding, these are the bells that the babies are gonna wear, whatever, a bell's bell. And then we got, oh my gosh, this one box that exploded in transit. This is Sherpa fabric. So that's what the babies are gonna be. Oh, so cute. You can see totally. This is what happened to the box. So that is their costume, and then I bought all this cute fabric for footed pajamas, and there's such a lack of cute. At least at the store that I was at, there was a lack of cute knit fabric to make pajamas out of. There was plenty of woven cute fabric, but not a lot of cute knit fabric. So we got the bicycles, and then we've got dirt bikes. Cute. And then there's all these zippers and muslin to make adjustments on my Halloween costume. What else is in here? So exciting. And I packed everything in these giant Ziplocs when I shipped them over, because if they exploded like they did. The only thing I didn't pack in a Ziploc bag because I couldn't fit it in a Ziploc bag. Was the Sherpa there. Thankfully, it didn't get damaged or ugly. And then this is the other cute knit fabric. It's Space. So I'm going to make one pair of footed pajamas out of this, one pair of footed pajamas out of the dirt bikes, and then 2 out of the bicycles. Super cute. Let's see. I've got just a red. Oh, look. This doesn't look like it's the same color on here, but it totally is the same color in person. So that's going to be accents to all of those different footed pajamas. Let's see, what else do I have in here? It's like Christmas morning for me, even though I know exactly what's in it because I bought it all. And I packed it all, and I shipped it all. Did you know that Ireland does not have postal codes? It does not. I was so shocked when I discovered this. I thought my husband had forgotten to give me a part of the post, or part of our address when I was getting ready to ship these. But aren't the babies going to be so cute? So cute! And warm. I was told that they celebrate Halloween fairly, not aggressively, but, you know, it's not looked down upon. And then this is going to be a purse. Let's see if I can find, oh yeah, there's the pattern. That's what that's gonna be. So cool. I found this at a quilt show, in Vancouver before we left. It's kind of cute. Hi, Scout! And then the rest of this is kind of, it's got the deck. See that's that heavy canvas, that deck cloth that I was telling you about. You can't really see. There's too much. It's too washed out. Anyway, I'm waiting for one more box to arrive. It has all the fabric for my husband and my costume. So I don't have the pattern and everything are in there too. Because I figured if it's going to get lost, they're all going to get lost together. Oh, if you like the iPad cases, I bought it from this company, By Annie's, and then this is that foamy stuff that I was telling you about. It's called Soft and Stable. And yeah, here's some more project bags that she has. And so I've got the pattern for this one because I thought the shape was super cute. I don't quite like this fabric. I think I'd like a smaller scale fabric, but super cool. There's a purse, there's a duffel bag. Oh, and then this cosmetic thing that she had was super cool in person as well. So yeah, those are the different patterns. And let's see, this is it's like foam, smushy, and it comes in this big sheet. And then this is after I've cut it to make the second iPad case. And they've got the patterns online, and they've got the finishing kits online, which I think usually includes the pattern as well. So if you want to check that out, her website is, I think it's just byannie.com. Yeah. www.byannie.com. Super cool. So that, I think, is all the crafting things that I've done since I have last spoke to you. I have gotten quite involved in quilting. There is a couple of quilt tops that are on a boat, not with me. My sewing machine's not with me, on a boat. This has been super hard. Because all the furniture that my husband and I have to sit on, there's one. There's another one in the dining area. See, we have 3 of these chairs because my mom came with us when we first came here. because I was terrified that we wouldn't be able to handle everything in the airport. And thank God my mom came with us, because I don't think we could have survived happily married if my mom hadn't come with us. So we have 3 folding chairs to sit on, to eat on, to relax and watch TV on, and yeah, sleeping on air mattresses. Oh gosh, it's like camping. Ugh. Let's see. Big differences here. We had to buy a total new TV. We couldn't bring our old TV because I guess it's on some sort of different frequency or something or other. I didn't quite understand. Somebody sounds like they're waking up. Let's see. Yep. Looks like I'm gonna have to go. So, I will talk to you all later. I gotta go deal with babies, and have a good day, and hopefully I'll be able to record again in a week or 2, although it'll all depend how much content I'll have. It's gonna be a bit thin for the next little bit. I gotta go. So, bye everybody.